Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Check it out. P. Diddy reportedly got into a fight. They said that he was choking somebody out. They always said he had a vicious chokehold, but now it came in handy. But now he's looking at losing 28 days good time. Already lost 28 days good time. That makes it a total of 54 days that he lost this year. That's the most you could lose, so that's the good thing. He getting in anything else, he can't lose no more good time. But he's just in the RDAP. RDAP was getting ready to end in July 29. That would have got him a year off his sentence. A week from now on the 29th of July. But from that fight, he might not even sit there and be able to complete the program to get the year off. So now his date is going to be pushed back even more, plus a year, plus the 54 days, and whatever else go down. Y'all understand how we break this down? Then I'm going to get into what it's like to be sitting in a psychological cell while you're in a physical cell, how his mind may be playing tricks on him. I did 26 years in federal prison. I served 5 years in ADX Supermax. I started off in Lewisburg, Allenwood, Lum Park, Coleman, Florida, Lee County, Atwater, Victorville. I've been around. So I'm telling you what it is firsthand. Sit back. Let's get this party started. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Hit the like button. Hit the hype button. Hit the like button. Hit the hype button. And bounce to the beat now. Keep it bouncing. Keep it bouncing. All right, y'all. All right, so we're dropping some jewels, right? But first of all, y'all want to know what happened, so we're going to get the report because, I'm going to give you a story. They used to have, a black dude selling ice over there in Harlem on 8th Avenue, and, next thing you know, a white dude opened up 10 blocks away selling ice. All the black people was walking past the black ice seller to go buy it from the white ice seller. Remember when they had the ice with a little silver thing that you scoop it up and then you put it in a cold and you put the syrup on it? They bypassed the black dude that was selling ice. And I asked them one day, yo, why y'all on right here? And they said, nah, we going over there because the white man's ice is colder. All right, let's get the party started. All right.
We have breaking news. Rapper Sean Diddy Combs is in solitary confinement after a source says he was involved in a prison fight. Combs is serving a 50-month sentence in a New Jersey prison for transporting sex workers. The source says the fight started with a remark from the other inmate. It's unclear how long Combs will be in solitary confinement. He's expected to be released from prison in 2028.
All right, so that's what's going on with P. Diddy Combs, right? Now, I want to get into letting you know what it's like psychologically to even be in that situation, right? So what happens next? That's what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about what happens next. Now, we're going to call this part one. All right, now, the door closed, right? Picture this. And a real fight started when the adrenaline died. Now, listen, picture this. The officers rush in. They're yelling, stop, the bodies separate. And now everything gets quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Prison quiet, that cold, heavy quiet, where you can hear your own heart beating, and every beat is asking you the same question. What did I just do? This is what Diddy may have been asking himself. The adrenaline starts leaving his body. His hands are cuffed. His breathing is still fast. His mind is moving faster. Now, they're walking you down the hallway, past steel doors, past officers, past inmates looking through windows trying to figure out what happened. And every step you take, you start feeling that moment getting more expensive, because it's eventually going to cost them 54 days if found guilty at DHO. Outside, Diddy control rooms. Inside, he cannot even control which door opens next. No entourage, no assistant, no security, no lawyer walking beside him. Just handcuffs, concrete fluorescent lights, and the sound of his own breathing. Then the segregation door closes, and he's locked in a cell. They put him inside. The door slams. And then the sound right there, that sound changes everything, because the physical fight may be over, but now he's fighting the cameras. Now he's fighting the paperwork, fighting the disciplinary process, fighting the fear that one emotional reaction may have just made prison harder. That is the part people outside don't understand. But I was on the inside, so I know what he's going through, or what a man in his situation is going through, for you rat bastards and flip-flop wearing and public trolls that like to control and correct something. Now, the punching stop, the consequences keep swinging. Now, let me give you the jewel for that, right? Anger might give you 5 seconds of satisfaction, then leave you alone, paying for it in a cell, locked in by yourself. There are no winners in a prison fight. Let me break this down, right? OG to OG. All right, come close, class. First of all, I want to thank y'all for coming to class, and I must give you all a round of applause. All right. Thank you. Relax. Could be finished riding. Now, prison is not the block like standing on the street. It's not the club, it's not the video. There is no crowd handing out trophies when the fight is over. You might land the cleanest shot and still lose everything that matters. You might walk away with your pride and lose your phone privileges, lose your commissary, lose your visits, lose your recreation, lose your program, lose your good housing assignment, lose your chance to stay close to your family. And depending on what happened, you might lose more than that. Now imagine them taking Diddy and send him all the way out to California, or all the way out to Colorado in the middle of the desert. And now his family have to make the truck to go there, when they even got excuses on the weekend, being an hour and a half from the city. So when people ask, who won the fight? They're looking at prison through the street lens. That's the wrong lens to look at this. The real question is, who damaged his own future the most? Who gave the institution more control by tacking on another 28 days? Who gave the officers a reason to watch him harder by locking him in solitary confinement? Who turned one problem into 5 new problems? Because in prison, you don't only fight the man in front of you, you fight the system that comes after you react. You fight the disciplinary report, you fight the hearing, you fight the sanction, you fight the classification review. That is the real opponent. Now, let me break that down, right? We're gonna take a ride. I'm gonna show you what Diddy have to go through, right? Now, you get an incident report, then you go to the UDC. The UDC is the Unit Disciplinary Committee. Now, they review it, ask what happened, look at the videos, they put a package together and they send it up to the court. The court is what you call the DHO. That's the disciplinary hearing officer. So that's where it goes after that. Now he reviews it and he finds you innocent or guilty, and he takes away whatever privileges or good time you have. He can only take 28 days for each incident is the most, and a total of 54 for the year. Sean Diddy Combs has already lost his 54 joints for the year. Now, so after that happened, then they got to classify you. Now your points go up because you got to fight. Now Diddy could get kicked out that program that he's in. He could get kicked out that program, lose the year, and get another 50, already have 54 days if he get found guilty of this. But, we done with that. Let's get into the jewel here. Let's get to the jewel here. In prison, the strongest man is not always the man who throws the hardest punch. It's the man he refused to fight that refused to throw his future away. Now, let's separate the facts from the noise. Reports say Sean Diddy Combs was involved in an altercation inside FCI Fort Dix, right? Reports say officers stepped in and they stopped it. Reports also say he was placed in solitary confinement afterwards. Some reports claim another inmate insulted him before the situation turned physical. But listen, we're not standing there. We did not hear what was said. We did not see what happened before the officers arrived. We don't know who moved first. We do not know what the cameras captured. And that's gonna be the key. The same way they're using your cell phones out here, they got cameras all in the prison. And we don't know what discipline, if any, has officially been imposed. So I'm not gonna address rumors and rumor it up with all this evidence that everybody got these inside conspiracy theories. I'm giving you the prison translation to what's happening right now to Diddy, the process. Once officers respond, everybody's personal vision starts losing power. Nobody sees nothing. Now the institution start building its version. Staff statements get written. Camera footage gets reviewed. Medical reports get examined. Witnesses may get questioned. And every word you say afterwards can become part of the case against you. That's why they tell you you have the right to remain silent. And check out my merch below. I have the Shut the F Up shirts for those of y'all that know someone that need to shut the F up. You get them a shirt and just tell them enjoy your summer. You know? Now, this is how prison works. The emotion happens first. The paperwork comes second. And that paperwork can hit harder, to last longer than the fight itself. The paperwork lasts your whole bid. Now, the jewel in that, right? The streets argue about what happened, but the institution only cares about what it can document, charge, and punish. Now, right? The first night alone. Let's ride into Diddy's first night alone. Right? Let's ride into Diddy's first night alone. I know what happens when the door shuts, because I spent 26 and a half years in federal prison behind locked doors. I know that feeling. I know how the cell starts talking to you. At first, your body is still, hot. You feel like you're overheating. Your heart is still racing. Your jaw is still tight. You're still telling yourself you had to do what you had to do. But give it an hour. Give it 2 hours. Give it until the hallway gets quiet and the lights stay on. And there's nobody there to convince but yourself of what really happened and why you chose to do what you do and throw away your future. Then your mind starts rewinding the tape. What did he say? Why did that hit me so hard? Did I move first? Did the camera catch the whole thing or only my reaction? Did somebody write that I was the aggressor? How long are they keeping me back here? Did I just lose my phone privilege? Did I just lose my visits? Did I just make my release harder? And now time starts stretching. 10 minutes feel like an hour. 1 hour feels like a whole night. Your thoughts are circling. Same memory, same question, same regret. That's the dark psychological cell. The cell inside the cell. The one that's deep within inside your head. Your body's locked behind another. While your mind is locked in its own. Now, let's get to the jewel in there. Solitary, what they call it, solitary, right? They call it solitary, we just call it the shoe. Solitary does not only remove people from around you, it removes every distraction and forces you to sit face to face with your own decisions. Right? Now, the name Diddy cannot open a steel door. Let's get that straight. The name Diddy in prison cannot open a steel door. Outside, the name Diddy carried weight. That name opened doors. That name moved money. That name made people answer phones. That name made room rooms changed when he walked inside. But prison does not care how many rooms you controlled outside. A steel door does not recognize fame. Count time does not recognize fame. Segregation does not recognize fame. A disciplinary officer does not have to respect your resume. Inside, the mansion becomes a bunk. The private chef becomes a plastic tray. The executive officer becomes a concrete cell. The bodyguards become correction officers who are not there to protect your image. And that kind of fall can tear a man's identity apart because he still remembers who he was, but everybody around him is responding to who he is now. An inmate, a number, a man waiting for doors to open. That pressure can make every stare feel disrespectful. Every joke feel personal. Every insult feel like somebody is trying to bury the last piece of who you used to be. And that is when ego gets dangerous. Now, let's get to the jewel, because we ride. We ride. Prison strips the title off the man, then tests whether there was any discipline underneath it. Because we must have discipline and structure. Now, how much is an insult worth? How much do you think an insult is worth? Do you think that insult or whatever Diddy interpreted allegedly was an insult that made him react to choke a man out was worth losing 54 days of good time and possibly being kicked out the program? That was going to give him a year off his time where he could serve a year in home confinement. Was it worth it? And this is to the young people. Let me ask every man watching this one simple question. What is the insult worth? Is it worth the whole, meaning solitary confinement, meaning the SHU as I know it? Is it worth losing your phone privileges where now you can't call your family and kids? Is it worth your mother not hearing your voice? Is it worth your child sitting by the phone wondering why you did not call? Is it worth losing commissary, losing visits, losing recreation period time where you can't go out and work out or play basketball? Losing a program that could help you come home? Is it worth getting transferred farther away from everybody who still loves you? Because that is what young men do, not calculate. They calculate embarrassment, they calculate pride, they calculate who was watching. They calculate what people might say if they walk away, but they don't calculate the incident report. They don't calculate the hearing. They don't calculate 30 days, 60 days or more sitting in a box, which is solitary confinement. They do not calculate a family trip getting canceled. Because imagine if your family was coming to visit you and now they found out that you're in the hole, and in the hole you don't get visits. So now they got to cancel that trip. They react to one sentence, then they pay with months of their life. That's not winning. That's letting another man use your ego to control your future. Now, did you youngins hear what I just said? That's letting another man use your ego to control your future. Ego worries about who saw you get disrespected. Wisdom worries about who will suffer after you react. Now, we're on part 2, right? Should I go to part 2? Part 2 is the paperwork, right? The paperwork becomes the weapon. Street code would not save you from prison code. On the street, somebody might say he stood on business. Inside the institution, staff may say he violated a rule. 2 different languages, 2 different worlds. The street says respect, the institution says fighting. The street says he had no choice. The institution asks, did he participate? The streets say he had to defend his name. The institution says, write the incident report. That's where men get trapped. They think their reason should erase the rule. But prison does not run on your feelings. It runs on policy. It runs on documentation. It runs on what the officers say they observed. It runs on what the camera shows. It runs on what can be proven, written, and coded. So while everybody outside debates whether the reaction was understandable, the institution is deciding whether the reaction was punishable. And those are not the same questions. Let's ride into the Jew. Street code might explain why you reacted, but prison code decides what your reaction is going to cost you. Now, once the report is written, right? Let's talk about what happens after the report is written, right? The moment gets a little longer. Life gets a little longer. After an incident, the institution starts building a record. Officers write what they saw. Staff document where each person was standing. Medical checks may show injuries. Cameras may show movement. Witnesses may give statements. The inmates involved may be asked for their version of what happened. And every contradiction can become another problem. Now the fight is no longer just a memory. It has a date, a time, a location, a rule number, a written allegation. And once that enters your institutional file, it could follow you. It's ride. I feel like ride. Man, come on. Oh man, I felt like riding. Relax. I felt like riding. I'm gonna take you on a ride. That's like when I was in Lewisburg, 1995. They said I was involved in starting a riot, made a rocket out of a industrial fan, and allegedly did something to a couple of police, and they wind up, setting me off for rioting and all this other crazy stuff. And that stayed in my file where it took me over 2 decades to get my security level to move down so I could go around medium security men. They said I had to be around high max men because of this incident report that was following me. And that's how they classified me. Now, every time they transferred me, that followed me. The programs that I took meant nothing after those incident reports came, because everything follows you when staff decide whether you're stable, cooperative, or dangerous. And I've never been cooperative. I've always been classified as stable and dangerous. But I'm not dangerous. I'm just a good guy trying to make mines, man. The other inmate might forget the whole thing. The paperwork will not. Remember that. A man can walk away from a fight, but he cannot walk away from the record the fight creates. Everything small becomes big in prison. Let me explain that to you, right? You want to ride with that? People outside here, loss of privileges, and think, that sounds minor. It's not minor. When prison already took almost everything else, a phone call is not just a phone call. Is it? It's connecting with your mother, your children, your partner, your lawyer, your commissary. It's not just snacks. It's soap, it's food, it's stamps, small pieces of independence. Recreation is not just exercise. It's air, it's movement, it's sunlight, a break from concrete. A visit is not just a visit. It might be the only time your child sees you as a father instead of a voice on the phone. So when a fight takes those things away, the punishment spreads. It reaches your body, your mind, your family, your hope. When prison has already taken your freedom, every remaining privilege become a piece of life. And anger can take that too. Now, let's talk about the release date that he lost, right? We got to ride into that. Yo, we riding class. We only been on here 25 minutes. I'm gonna try and keep this at 30, but it's not gonna last 30, so I'm gonna apologize now for holding. If you like the content, make sure you cop the book of Raw in Harlem, and make sure you hit the like button, the hype button, and the comments to get this thing moving and get this word out, all right? Now, let's talk about the release date, right? How it starts moving inside your head. We don't know whether this incident will officially affect Diddy's release date. That has not been established, but if he's found guilty, it will. That has not been established. But let me tell you what happens inside a man's mind. The moment trouble happens, the date starts moving even before the paperwork does. Now he's wondering, did I lose anything? Did I damage my program eligibility? Did I create a disciplinary problem? Did I give them a reason to move me to another institution? Did I just place another obstacle between me and the front gate? And until he gets an answer, his mind will manufacture its own punishment. One minute he tells himself it will be fine. The next minute he's imagining the worst. That's what uncertainty does. It turns one unanswered question into 100 different fears. You lie down thinking about the hearing that you're getting ready to face for this fight. Or should I say choking out the throat. You wake up thinking about the hearing. You hear keys and you wonder if somebody is coming with paperwork. You hear footsteps and wonder if they're coming for you. That waiting becomes another sentence of its own. Unknowing punishment hurts, but an uncertainty makes a man punish himself every hour before the decision even comes. Which punishment do you think is worse, punishing yourself every hour before the decision comes, or actually being punished and knowing what it is? The phone goes silent, and the family feels it when he has to tell them what happened. This is the part nobody cheers about. When a man gets placed in segregation, the people outside can feel the door close too. His phone calls may stop, his messages may stop, his regular routine disappears. Now the family starts searching the internet, calling lawyers, calling institutions, asking questions nobody wants to answer. Is he hurt? Is he safe? Is he in more trouble? Is he coming home later? Is the news telling us everything? And while the man inside is replaying the fight, the family outside is replaying every possible outcome. That is the family sentence. They did not throw a punch. They did not even break a rule. But they still lose sleep talking about the family. They still carry the fear. One impulsive move inside becomes emotional punishment for everybody connected to you, including the people on the outside. Every prison reaction sends a shockwave through people who never entered the fight, but still suffer from the consequences. Now, we really gonna ride. I feel like riding. The reputation trap is designed to make you lose. Prison is full of tests. Some are direct, some are subtle. Some men will test you because they want to know who you are and if you really built like that. Some will test you because they don't like who you were. You was P. Diddy. You had the keys to the city and now you in here with me thinking you better than me. Some will test you because they know your name brings attention and want their name connected to yours. And some will test you because they have less to lose than you do. That's the dangerous one. A man with nothing to lose can bait a man who has a release date. family support, lawyers, programs, and a future waiting outside. All he needs to do is touch the right nerve, say the right word, challenge the right piece of pride. And if you react, he just used your own ego as a weapon against you. You might win the physical exchange, but he might win the bigger battle. Because now you're in the hole. You're trapped in shoe. You're trapped in solitary confinement. Your phone is gone. Your family is worried. Your record is damaged. And he's somewhere else smiling because you did exactly what he wanted you to. The man who knows your ego knows where to place the trap. And the man who controls himself refuses to step inside that trap. 26 years showed what happened, right? Pride really costs. I did 26 years, so I'm not speaking from a book. I'm not speaking from a headline. I watched men destroy years of process over 10 seconds of anger. I watched men lose visits because they had to prove a point, lose programs with good time because they could not let a word pass, get transferred further away from home because they wanted everybody in the unit to know they were not soft. How many of y'all know people that you ran into like that? Put that in the comments. How many of y'all know people that want to let people know they're not soft, so they did something stupid and wound up where they knew they wasn't built for? And after the doors closed, after the crowd disappeared, after the story stopped being exciting, those same men sat back thinking, counting, regretting, because anger lied to you. It makes the moment feel bigger than your future. It tells you this has to be handled right now. I gotta stand on business. Then when the moment passes, your future's still sitting there damaged. The man you fought goes back to his life. The witness go back to laughing and talking. Staff finish their reports, but you stay in that cell, locked in 23 hours a day, still paying the price of that one punch. Anger makes 5 seconds feel like everything, then leaves you holding the bill for months, years, or the rest of your life, if that's what you wind up getting. And we ride it. Listen, Ron, even if he was baited, right? Even if Diddy was baited, he still has to own the reaction. Because I know some people gonna say, no, he had to do that. You know, they picked him because they was Diddy. He's not gonna go out like that. He ain't gonna go for like he's soft. But he had to own his reaction. Was Diddy baited? Put that in the comments. Maybe he was. Was somebody trying to test him because of his fame? Maybe they were. Put in the comment if you believe that's what it is. Was there tension building before the incident? Possibly. But we don't know that to be a fact. And even if somebody did provoke him, that does not remove the next question. How did he respond is all that matters. That's accountability. You can acknowledge the provocation without pretending the reaction had no consequence. You can understand the pressure without excusing every decision made under pressure. A man does not control what another person says. He controls whether those words can reach inside him, grab the steering wheel, and drive him into more trouble. That's the real battle. Not whether somebody disrespected you, but whether disrespect can make you abandon your own plan. Provocation explains the temperature, but accountability still asks who decided to throw gasoline on the fire. Right? Now, we're on the last part. I'm sorry, class. I'm sorry. Your hood professor here. I'm sorry. This class ran a little longer. Please sit back. Guaranteed to enjoy it. Make sure you hit the like button. Man. Yeah, I just felt like doing something real quick. Now, the hardest fight is the one inside the man. Remember that. From controlling an empire to start waiting for a door to open by another man. Think about that fall, not just financially, talking about mentally, emotionally, spiritually. A man goes from giving instructions to receiving them, from moving on his own time to moving when officers say move, from private rooms to sheer space, from controlling access to asking permission, from people protecting his comfort to nobody caring whether he's comfortable. That kind of change can break a man who built his identity around power. Because now every order feels like humiliation. Every delay feels personal. Every joke feels like disrespect. Every challenge feels like somebody's trying to ease and erase who you used to be. But prison does not care who you used to be. Prison is testing you for who you are now. When the titles are gone, when the money cannot move the door, when the name cannot stop the count, when the only thing left is your discipline. Status tells the world who you are when everything is working. Prison reveals who you are when everything is taken away. This is really a story about control. Put in the comments if you think this is really a story about control. The headlines will make this about a prison fight, but the real story is control. Who controlled the moment? Who controlled the emotion? Who controlled the response? Because inside prison, almost everything is already controlled for you. When you wake up, when you eat, when you move, when you shower, when the doors open, when the doors close, the one thing you still own is your response. And once another man can control that, through one insult, one look, or one challenge, you have given away the last piece of freedom you still have. That's why self-control is not weakness. Self-control is survival. Self-control is power. Self-control is keeping your destination bigger than your emotions. When the institution controls your movement, do not let another inmate control your mind. Now, 2 o'clock in the morning. Let's ride into 2 o'clock in the morning, locked in a cell, 23 hours a day, knowing you're about to lose your good time, maybe getting kicked out the program. Let's see what's going through someone like Diddy's head. At 2 o'clock in the morning, there's no audience, no people hyping you up, no one yelling, telling you you did the right thing. No music, no cameras for entertainment. Just concrete, steel, and memory. That's when the truth gets loud. You replay the words, you replay the first move, you replay the officers running in, you replay your hands getting cuffed, you replay the walk from the hallway, you replay this segregation door closing behind you. Then your mind asks the question, your pride refused to ask before the fight. What is it worth? Was it worth it? Was one insult worth me being locked in a cell 23 hours a day? Is what Diddy's probably thinking about. Was proving I was not weak worth giving the institution more power over me? That is regret. Regret is the conversation that comes after pride has already done the damage. Pride speaks loud before the mistake. Regret whispers all night after the doors close. Let's talk about should Diddy take responsibility and accountability. Accountability does not mean celebrating his pain. Let me make this clear. I'm not celebrating another man sitting in solitary confinement. I know what that institution does to the mind. I know how the walls feel closer at night. I know how the mind starts turning against itself. I know how a man can hear his child's voice without a phone in the room. I know how memories come alive. There is nowhere else to look. So this is not entertainment for me. But compassion does not cancel accountability. We can understand the pressure and still say the reaction may have been wrong. We can recognize the human being and still demand that the grown man own his decision. Accountability is not humiliation. Accountability is not hate. Accountability is telling the truth before another person repeats the same mistake, and that's what we're trying to prevent over here at Unique Mecca Audio. That is the mission. Not to laugh at the cell or the man in the cell. To learn from the doors closing. Real compassion does not hide the mistake. It tells the truth about the mistake so nobody else does not have to suffer the same consequence. Young men, do not become a crash dummy for your own ego. Young brothers, listen closely. Stop letting people control you with words. Stop letting somebody insult you, then sit back and watch you destroy your own life. That's what happens when you slide like that. That's the crash dummy behavior. And I know y'all ain't no crash dummies. The person provoking you might go home tonight. You may go to jail. The person laughing might forget the whole thing tomorrow. Your mother might remember it every day for 20 years. Your child might grow up without you. Your friends might move on. Your neighborhood might replace you. The same people who screamed, do something, will not do one day in your sentence. They would not pay your lawyer. They would not raise your children for you, or even help finance your children. They would not sit in segregation with you. So stop living your life for the approval of people who would disappear when the consequences arrive. I feel last minute, right? A sentence can take your youth, your health, your family, your future. The streets would dare you to prove you're a man. Then prison would take away every chance you had to become one. Grown men have to outgrow the need to prove everything. And let me speak to the grown men too. Age does not automatically kill ego. Money does not automatically create wisdom. Fame does not automatically create discipline. A grown man should know every battle does not deserve his hands being put on him. Every insult does not require an answer. Every challenge does not need a performance. Sometimes walking away is not fair. It's tragedy. Sometimes silence is not weakness. It's control. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is disappoint the people waiting for you to react. Because your family needs your freedom more than strangers need proof of your toughness. Your children need your presence more than your ego needs applause. Your future needs discipline more than the moment needs violence. Now, the jewel in that, Ron. Maturity is when protecting your future becomes more important than protecting your image. Now, the institution decides what the moment means. What happens next depends on the facts. The institution may review the reports, review the cameras, review medical evidence, review witness statements, determine who started what, determine whether it was mutual, determine whether discipline is warranted. Until that process is complete, nobody outside should pretend to know the official outcome. We cannot honestly say his release date changed, but we can say if he's found guilty, it will. Why cannot? We cannot honestly say that sanction he received. Now, we cannot honestly say the reported insult was definitely the trigger. But we can say this: every prison incident creates risk. Risk to your privileges, risk to your programs, risk to your housing, risk to your peace of mind. And when you're trying to reach the gate, every uncertainty, risk is dangerous. A release date is not enough. You need the discipline to survive every day between you and the gate. The fight was never the real story. The fight is not the real story. Diddy is not even the real story. The insult is not the story. The lesson in the story is real. A man can survive a courtroom and still create new punishment inside for himself. A man can avoid the most serious charges and still lose ground through one emotional reaction. A man can have money, lawyers, family support, fame, and still become a prisoner of his own ego. That is what I wanted y'all to see. Prison does not always have to destroy a man. Sometimes it only has to keep applying pressure until the man destroys his own plan. That's why discipline matters. Discipline matters. That's why patience matters. That's why humanity matters. That's why the streets are real, but the prison is realer. Real power is not winning one heated moment. Real power is leaving that moment with your freedom plan still alive. Now, let me ask y'all these 10 questions. I want to thank y'all again for coming to class. Woof, I'm sorry this was so long. This is almost an hour. I want to thank y'all for coming to class, right? If an inmate insulted Diddy, was he wrong for reacting? Was Diddy wrong for reacting if an inmate insulted him? Now, the insult may explain the answer, but inside prison, a man still has to calculate what the reaction can cost him. And Diddy's paying now being solitary confinement. Does walking away from disrespect make a man look weak to you? Put that in the comment. No, sometimes walking away means the other man was not powerful enough to pull you away from your goal. Do famous inmates get tested more than everybody else? Fame can attract jealousy, attention, resentment, and people looking to make a name. But every institution and every situation is different. Now, 4, right? Let me get the bell. Can one fight damage a man's release date? A fight can affect privileges, programs, housing, classification, and disciplinary history. The official consequences depend on the facts and the institution finding out. 5. Should a man defend himself if he believes he's in danger while he's in prison? A man can protect himself from immediate danger, but he still has to understand the institution will review every move he made. Is solitary confinement a fair response after Diddy allegedly getting in a fight. Temporary separation may be used for the safety and investigation, but the reason, length, and conditions should still be examined fairly. Now, 7. Could another inmate have baited Diddy because he had more to lose? Put that in the comment. It is possible. A man with little to lose can be dangerous to a man trying to protect the release date. But that has not been confirmed yet. Does money really matter once the cell door closes? Money can help with lawyers, support, and resources outside. It can't stop counting time, prison rules, segregation, or a lock, steel door. Now, 9, right? We're on 9. What hurts more, the fight or the mental replay afterwards when he laying in that cell at 2 in the morning? The physical fight might last seconds. The mental replay can punish a man every night for months and even years and even the rest of his life. I want y'all to put in the comments, what is the biggest lesson from this story? Never let another person's words take control of your future. If they can control your emotions, they can lead you directly into consequences. Now, the final Unique Mecca Audio close, right? Let me close this out. Now, we're not here to glorify the fight. We're here to expose the price. We're not here to worship reputation. We're here to protect the future. We're not laughing at a man in a cell. We're learning from the sound of that door closing. Because the celebrity is never the real story. The lesson is the story. Control your ego, control your response, control your family, protect your freedom, and never let 5 seconds of anger steal years of your life. The streets are real, but prison is realer, and the final jewel is the man who can control your emotions can control your direction, and once your direction points towards prison, everybody you love pays the toll. Now, let's ride into why I do what I do. All right, let's see where we at here. Let's go.
Hi, I watch Unique Mecca's YouTube, and it's amazing. Like, his whole story is so nostalgic. It's so like Harlem. It's so like 1980s. It's so 1999. I've been watching his channel for about 2 years, and it's very informative and it's real. You know, you don't really get the real deal from everybody, but with him, you definitely gonna get the whole real story. This is a Harlem legend, kingpin, legendary. I'm so happy to just even meet him and be in his presence. Like, his channel is very informal, and if you subscribe, you're gonna be just like me, a fan.
All right.
You
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique, you know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, you know, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, you know, if, you know, shit be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca Audio, I feel it, and I, like, to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight, because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe, and it just took my mind way off of that, way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All right.
I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it was such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing.
What you got from the channel?
History, how hard it is to be in jail, the right and wrong moves to make when you outside, how one wrong move will cost you a whole lot, to be better, to do better, a lot of stuff. You'll get a lot of stuff from his channel, you know? It's very informal, and, you know, whatever that means to you, you'll definitely take a piece with you. Like, this is a good YouTube channel, honestly.
Tell them who you on, where they can find you.
Okay, I'm Cora. You can find me at Instagram on Why Hate on Her, and yeah. I just want to give a shout out to Unique Mecca Audio. He is so dope. I had the experience of actually meeting him in person. I've been a fan for 2 years, watching his story and watching his videos on YouTube. He is the bomb.com. Harlem, legendary, kingpin, real, official. As soon as I sat down by him, I knew like it was like a different energy, a different vibe. But then once I hear his voice, I'm like, oh my God, is that him? I'm all fanned out. Like, you know, it was such an experience getting the chance to meet him and, you know, being a fan of his YouTube channel and just following him for the last 2 years and knowing his story and seeing his interviews. And I support him 1000%. And I'm subscribed to his YouTube. You should go and subscribe as well. Amazing, amazing.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the